Good afternoon, Heat Nation, folks, Cats, and everything between and beyond. My name is Roy, the only host of the history of the internet who fully and wholeheartedly admits that he has no idea what he's talking about, but he tries. And I know I didn't record on Saturday. I'm sorry. I was just floored. I am not doing this because I'm getting paid. I do this for fun. So it's got to be fun to do, and that's why, again, shout out to Raph, always creating content, for always making things happen. He asked me to post some videos from my time at the Kaseya Center, but I'm not really fitting those videos, so I'm not going to post them. And I know I didn't record anything after Bam's game winner, which was amazing. Again, it's the second clutch game. Second clutch win, I guess, right in a row. Won against the Magic, clutch, lost against Cavaliers by a lot, especially in trash time. Could have been somewhat of a 10-pointer differential, but it wasn't. And then got that clutch game, 113, 0.8 to go. Bam releases the mid-ranger that he basically started the game with, a little bit farther even, and gets us to win. That is definitely what we should be talking about, as well as Tyler Hero making the All-Star team. Most likely going to be the three-point shot contest. It's going to be an interesting All-Star weekend for Tyler Hero. I hope he enjoys it. I hope he celebrates it. He deserves those accolades. I already saw some statistics regarding all the people that were left off, and that's just basically what it is. I think the Tyler Hero, those statistics show well in the Tyler Hero comparison between, at least I saw Trae Young and I don't know who else was mentioned. But in general, I think Tyler Hero deserves it. Definitely carrying the team offensively on his back. And there are nights that Bam Adebayo shows up, and it's still tough. It's against a Spurs team that is without Wembanyama. And the Nichols raised the question in our Facebook group. Again, Miami Heat new, not so new, and veteran fans. If you guys want to take a look there, that would be great. We have those very narrow and brief conversations, and then Nichols did raise the point that would have we won had Wembanyama played, and Josh Howard also there answered, I think, in a great manner that we may have been able to win by more than that, and I think that's pretty much what it is. There is no way to know the what ifs, right? If my grandma had more testosterone, should be my grandpa, but she doesn't. That's basically the way that I'm going to choose to say this joke. And we are on a Monday. We have a back-to-back starting tomorrow, and then on Wednesday we play 2 games right before the trade deadline, and then of course we don't play during the trade deadline. I just saw some news that the flights are being rearranged so that no team is caught flying while any kind of trade announcement is made, so as to avoid awkward flights. I already saw Luka's father, the biggest trade I think that the Lakers have pulled, I guess since LeBron, is getting getting Luka basically to their team, which was something that the Mavs shopped out, which again makes this entire concept very interesting. Some analysts say it makes sense, but most of the NBA kind of baffled, so they don't want to create that kind of situation because obviously, like I said, Luka's father already commented and said it was a lot of hypocrisy and secrecy, and that's kind of nature of the business. We hear a lot of things from the most vetted sources, which are indeed when it comes to breaking news, it's going to be shams. And again, not because he's a good journalist, but because he's chosen as the vessel, just like Woj was before him, chosen as the vessel to break NBA news. And at the same time, we have people who are closer to the front office or closer to understanding what's happening in the front office, who are not in the mainstream media necessarily, and very few who really understand it. Sun Sentinel with Ira, like I said, I think I said Miami Herald a couple times, right? Sun Sentinel with Ira. And a couple of other people who really understand how this franchise works, and what they are basically saying is that we don't know what's going to happen in terms of the Jimmy Butler trade and all of these trades happening. Obviously, again, Luka was shopped out, which is something that shocked and sent ripples throughout the NBA. And I guess the reasoning behind it is he has some issues, but he's still young. He's a player with so much potential. He's a player that certainly would would probably deserve a max extension. That's a future Hall of Famer again, right, for LeBron James to play with. And I'm pretty sure LeBron James knew exactly what was happening. I don't know what he said he didn't know. I'm pretty sure he knew exactly what was happening. Well, at least with time enough to maybe have said something to AD, who I can assure you is not happy with this trade. And I think that AD probably feels a little bit betrayed. And I don't know. We're just thinking about the soap opera behind it. But the truth is we don't know what's going to happen or not going to happen. But as I have been locked out of my work laptop for a long time now, we decided to skip, like I said, my worthless of a penny, the video until after the trade deadline, and that's basically where we are right now. Understanding again that other teams are able to do certain trades, to pull off certain trades without much of a difficult time, such as right now the Kings, Bulls, and who else is involved in that? The Jazz were also involved in that, right? But Aaron Fox leaving the Kings before asking for a trade. And of course, that's kind of the part that I saw again on 5 Reasons Sports being talked about after Luka Doncic trade, after, I think even before the news. I don't know if they recorded it before the news of the Aaron Foxes, but all those trades happening kind of in the middle of the night, right? So very interesting. But yeah, as 5 Reasons Sports people said, it's just, we could have probably avoided a situation had we been as aggressive as that, but who would have thunk? And a lot of people look back at it and say in hindsight that makes sense, but did it make sense to anyone after we made the finals in 2023 that this was going to happen? Did it make sense to anyone? Did anyone see this coming? Did anyone see such a horrible season coming subsequently after 2023? After reaching the finals in 2023 and in 2023 24 season, playing so poorly as we did, leaving after 2 play-in games and after Butler getting injured right before the playoffs against the Celtics. I can't see how it would have done it. I just, it was a bad team. It was a bad, in my opinion, a bad general attitude. Is like I said, in that season, when I was used to comment a lot with the same people that I speak to today, Andy Nichols and Raf and Fourth, Bautista, we always talk about this, from the Philippines to the UK, United States. And the truth is, I don't think any of us foresaw this coming. I didn't actually hear anyone saying, "Hey, we should trade Jimmy Butler now." What I did hear people say after the disaster that was 23, that last season was, right before this one, was trade him because he deserves a championship, right? Just let Jimmy go because he deserves a championship. And maybe that would have made sense at the time, but again, we didn't, and we came into this season kind of understanding our limitations based on our experiences from the last season, based on the fact that we couldn't retain a bunch of players, and some players just left because they thought that they were going to, not talking about Caleb Martin, of course, they thought that we're going to be worth more money in the free market, and they weren't. And then you have this situation happening with Jimmy Butler, which unfortunately needs to be addressed here. And I agree. We should be focusing more on Bam Adebayo's good game, because that's the kind of game that I think he should be having from now on. The thing is, he's done this before this season. Will he consistently do that? That's what we need to see. And it depends on mismatches and depends on the way that he approaches the game itself. But yes, those are the things that need to be seen. In which, Bam Adebayo becomes more aggressive. Bam Adebayo goes to the rim more. Bam Adebayo makes more free throws. We need that because we need those 2 main players in which likely this organization is looking to build around, unless something very good comes, which is Hero and Bam. And for now, they didn't shop Luka to us. They didn't want Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, right, for Luka Doncic, which I think, again, either of those players, even maybe those 2 players, would have been kind of, you empty the house for a future Hall of Famer that for a fact that is a future Hall of Famer and that has performed better in regular seasons and playoff games more consistently, let's say, than Tyler Hero, which is Luka Doncic, but has gotten to one finals versus Tyler Hero has gotten two finals, has gotten to two conference finals versus Tyler Hero has gotten to three conference finals, and of course he was injured in one of those. So, or came back from an injury, right? I think he still played a little bit, but obviously not himself after not having played for so long and kind of being put in the fire there and not being able to lead the team in last season's first round. But again, whether the Celtics had the easiest road or not, they still had a great team, and they still have a great team, and we are yet to beat them so as to make a case that we can beat them without a leader like Jimmy Butler was. Again, a guy that hurt us when he didn't play. That it wasn't just a neutral thing. It was a minus. It was a negative when he played and he did his antics, which he did a couple times. And now it seems like, at least according to his friends that are known on Twitter, such as Ernie and a couple of other people that say that, it does seem like Jimmy Butler's hope is that we take Beal's contract, and it's just not happening. So we don't know what is going to happen, and unfortunately, we may as well just have to accept that regardless of what happens before the trade deadline, because something can happen, right? And there is still, of course, other things happening that we've talked about perhaps just as much as anybody else, which is the Terry Rozier situation with the FBI investigation, that we don't know what's happening. But if the FBI say something already, if they divulge something, it's because they have something. So I don't know why everybody is treating this as not such a big deal at all. I understand innocent until proven guilty, and I'm with it. But at the same time, it does seem like nobody's making a big deal out of it. So maybe that's a non-story. I don't know. As far as what is going to happen, again, we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know whether or not we're going to be able to get rid of Jimmy Butler. Unfortunately, this is a Jimmy Butler problem. I mean, right now, Jimmy Butler caused this. Jimmy Butler decreased his value. Jimmy Butler is sending out memos that he doesn't want to play for certain teams because he doesn't want. I mean, look, if he says that I don't want to extend with the Warriors, but then the Warriors are able to do some sort of an interesting trade in the future with the Suns, that's a different story. But I don't think anybody, because of Beal's contract and because of Beal's lack of, every time that a team comes up, he shuts that rumor down, saying he doesn't want, or at least his agent does, saying he doesn't want to play there. And he does have a no trade clause, which for Bradley Beal, for freak's sake, it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. But it does seem like that's the only way that we could do something with the Suns. And now we hear rumors that are maybe shopping KD, which kind of doesn't make sense if they still want to pursue Butler. So maybe they don't want to pursue Butler anymore. Maybe they just want to run on a different kind of timeline. I don't know. It's very interesting that all of a sudden we have so much movement going to certain parties that could have been involved in the Jimmy Butler trade, and they're not involved. And I'll be honest with you, this is the way that I'm going to finish this part, right? I'm not even, hopefully tomorrow I'm able to record before our next game, but we are one game above 500. I do think that this is pretty much the ceiling. 2-3 games above 500 are the ceiling of this team. 44 wins at best, 45 wins for this year. But obviously we're also considering the fact that we don't know what the future holds, and also we don't know how certain players are going to fit into the rotation after the trade deadline, after the All-Star break. And so, but we're not even thinking about the All-Star break right now. We're just thinking about this, Thursday. Are we going to get explosive news, be it Thursday or be it that something already started before Thursday and it's finalized in the wee hours of Thursday, although everything's kind of supposed to be finalized already in the evening of Thursday for us, in the Eastern clock. It's very interesting, and that what we are about to, there's a likelihood that we are about to face another season, not just this remainder season, but another season with Jimmy Butler, and this might be the end of his career. If that's how it seems, it's like, because I can't see him coming back from this situation and opting in and things necessarily being easier next off season, but there's a lot of things for us to contend with. He made things very difficult. I know that people feel awkward there, and they feel better without him. and that the Miami Heat is going to try to get him suspended as much as possible. It's kind of like a no-win situation because no one is getting what they want unless Jimmy Butler goes to the Suns and we get expiring contracts and assets or something, right? That we don't get stuck with, such as the Bradley Beal's, the Bradley Beal contract. In any case, that's it for me for now. I don't like when things are like that. I rather talk about games, or rather talk about the excitement that it is to watch, the disappointment that it is to lose, happiness that it is to win, and how other people see this team, and how people like me who are not analyzing every movement because we're not able to. We understand when Brady Hawk and Jablonka and others analyze movements, and we love it, but we can't do that ourselves. And yet we would love to be talking about the season as if it were a normal season, but we can't. So obviously this is not what I signed up for in terms of content, right? I am not here to, and again, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about Pat Riley right now because honestly, we don't know. He did get Jimmy Butler to us, which made a huge difference in this, in these past 5 seasons, actually. And I think that we had relatively more success than most of the teams that people say we got better. We already said that. So I can't really criticize Pat Riley right now. I don't know, because I don't know. I just don't know. What I can say is that from what I know, there's nothing that Pat Riley could have done to any professional player to make things this bad. If Lillard wanted out of Portland, but he was still willing to give it all, and he was traded to the Bucks, and he never misplayed. He always kind of, and the more he fits with the system, the better he plays, and he certainly plays very well against us. I don't understand why we have to have. I do understand why. It's literally a person that has personality problems. There's nothing else I can say. But I don't like to make those comments. I want to talk about different things. Stay safe, stay happy as possible. It's a complicated world of ours, and let's go Heat.